It's hard to believe that the PSVR2's PC adapter has been out for over a year. Even though the year didn't feel very long, this headset has grown a lot. We've seen things as simple as price drops, to as complicated as community-made drivers that fix all the headset's imperfections, with even more things planned for the future. So as consistent users of the PSVR2 on PC, Justin and I would like to talk about our experience in the last year, and if it's still worth your time. With this adapter bringing in a ton of new PSVR2 users, the accessories market has exploded. Back when this adapter came out, there really weren't too many accessories out there. I had a charging station for my controllers and a bungee for my previous headset that keeps the cable on the ceiling. Other than that, there really wasn't much out there that was actually decent. But in the last year, we've really seen the market explode with new headbands, different controller grips. Some have fixed the audio issue by adding headphones to the side of the headset. And we've even seen third-party PSVR2 adapters for PC, which are always in stock so you never have to worry about that, Sony, and usually they come at a cheaper price point as well. Now, I haven't purchased any different accessories for my headset, but to see the market explode with all these different options to make this headset feel like yours now is super cool. I'm never going to complain about that.
Alright, so I'm here to yap a little bit about the user experience of PSVR2 on PC, so what it's like using the headset for Steam VR and how that performs. And I'm going to talk about the really exciting community driver project that's been happening for PSVR2 that'll significantly improve the headset in ways that Sony can't once that's available to the public. So in terms of just the base user experience, PSVR2 is basically the closest thing you can get to a plug-and-play Steam VR headset that isn't a Valve Index or a Big Screen Beyond 2. It's not like a Meta headset where you have to run Meta's terrible software that slows your PC down. And it's not like Windows Mixed Reality, which has even worse software that slowed your PC down until Microsoft took it out back and shot it. So over the course of the last year, Sony has released exactly 3 updates to the driver, and it's all mainly just like not user-facing improvements, besides like fixing a refresh rate issue on AMD cards. In regards to the Bluetooth tracking, your mileage is going to vary a lot depending on your PC's Bluetooth setup. But let's say you don't have built-in Bluetooth, or you're like very far away from your PC and your setup, your mileage is going to vary, and you may have to get a external Bluetooth adapter. I know there's a couple specific ones that I've seen recommended by community members that generally give good results. So in regards to community improvements, I need to see the server. Their username is Skibbity Rizzler on Discord right now. On the Discord server, Caitlin's Hangout and Software, there's a group of software developers who have been working on a custom driver for PSVR2 that adds a bunch of features, and I honestly truly believe those community drivers really increases the value proposition for this headset. So the full version of the driver isn't available yet. That should be coming in the upcoming months.
And by upcoming months, he means the day before this video was supposed to go live. So all the future drivers he's about to talk about will be available today. They're going out for testing, so expect some bugs, but they'll be patched out pretty quick, I feel.
It gives arguably one of the most important fixes to the headset, and that's tracking fixes. So for whatever reason, when Sony released the driver, it has some sort of built-in controller prediction that really makes the tracking wonky when doing fast movements, and that caused major issues in any games where you're throwing things really fast or swinging your hands around a lot, so like Beat Saber. That DLL file fixes those tracking problems entirely, and I basically consider it a must-have for anybody who's using PSVR2 on PC. And the best part about it is it's free, it's easy to install, and also the person making the driver has a Patreon you can go subscribe to if you want to support it. In the full version of the driver, there's going to be a lot more features, including runtime refresh rate changing. So if you have the PSVR2 headset right now, you can go into Steam VR, and when you try to change the refresh rate from 90 Hz to 120 Hz, you have to restart Steam VR. The full version of the driver is going to get rid of that. You can just restart it in Steam VR even while you're running a game, so it's kind of like how the Valve Index does it. There'll be support for 10-bit color / HDR in games that support it, aka games that get mods for it, because ain't no fucking way that developers are going to be adding HDR to their PC VR games. The full version of the driver will include support for haptic triggers, which I believe will also be another thing that developers can choose to add to their game. I don't know if it's a thing that can be modded, so don't buy this headset thinking you're going to get adaptive triggers on PC. It's more just like a bonus feature. And arguably the most important thing and the best thing that's going to be coming with the driver is full support for the headset's eye tracking on PC. So with Steam VR, with that driver, the eye tracking will work, so you can use it in games like VR chat and such.
But none of that matters if the actual games aren't fun to play on this headset. So I want to split up the games into two categories. The casual games, where you have stuff like Walkabout Mini Golf or VR Chat, and the competitive side of things, where you see stuff like Beat Saber, Underdogs, Veil, stuff that's a little bit more active, I guess. But starting off with the casual games. This headset is damn near perfect. It's extremely comfortable and lightweight for long sessions, and there's really no buildup of sweat or anything like that, especially with the rubber flaps on the side to block out that light. There's really no issues that I have in terms of wearing the headset itself. The OLED display is also a very good complement to almost any environment that you play, whether it is Walkabout Mini Golf, or maybe just a slower paced action game like Half-Life Alyx. The OLED panel really adds a lot to the environment and atmosphere for a lot of these games, so if you're a casual player, this OLED panel is going to look great. I also haven't had any issues with the microphone quality talking to people and it sounding kind of weird. Justin was using the microphone if you want a comparison of audio, but for a VR headset microphone, it's really not that bad.
Who the hell put this... Actually, who made this sticker? Why would you put that then?
Oh, the Nintendo Switch 2, it's boring? Yeah, I hate that video.
No, not you.
And especially now too, with the simple audio solutions where you can just attach headphones to the side of the headset, if you really don't care about audio quality too much, you care more about convenience, you have options now, which is good. I'd say the only downside that still exists to playing casually with this headset is the battery life of the controller, and the fact that you can only connect the controller to one device at a time. So if you are bouncing back between PC and PS5, you're still only able to connect the controller to one device and then plug it in and use it that way on the next. It's just kind of annoying, especially when the DualSense controllers can now just pair to multiple things and just not have to plug it in to reconnect it. And I mean, battery life, it's another reason I'm not a huge fan of rechargeables. Like, they're cool when it's the system itself, but if it's your controller, especially a VR controller, it just gets annoying. I've had multiple times where my controllers just decided not to charge, or I play for long sessions and then they die, so it's just good to know. But if you are playing those more competitive games, battery life's probably not an issue because you're probably not playing for very long. At least from my experience, I really only play them for like an hour, hour and a half. But with a lot of this extra head movement, it kind of shifts the display out of that sweet spot that the Fresnel lenses have. I'm constantly readjusting the headset just to make sure that I'm seeing the best that my headset's actually displaying. Luckily, fog isn't an issue at all. The little fan that they have built into the PSVR2 gets rid of almost all the fog. So I've never had an issue with that, which I'm thankful for. But I probably would recommend replacing the head strap that's built into these guys if you do plan on playing those more fast-paced games, because it does get really annoying having to constantly tighten and readjust the headset. Especially because when you tighten the headset, at least for me, it gives me headaches. So that might actually be something worth investing in.
And the headset works perfectly with pretty much every game. Very rarely are there compatibility issues, but I do have two examples of games that have compatibility issues. The first one is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. That game has compatibility issues with the controllers, but thanks to Steam VR community bindings, that is very, very easily fixed. You literally just turn on the most popular community binding and it works. The other game is fucking Roblox. And I don't know if any of you play Roblox VR, but Roblox VR sucks anyway, so you're not really missing out on much.
But there are some games that just aren't meant for Steam VR or 120 Hz, so you might actually have to lower that down to 90 in order to get a stable frame rate. I have a pretty beefy PC at this point. I'll put the specs up on screen because I'm just stupid like that. But some games, man, I'll see people who run them completely fine, and they're just running them through the Meta app, and then as soon as you launch it through Steam VR, it is a complete stuttering mess until you drop the refresh rate back down to 90. I've also had the occasional Bluetooth issue, and I say occasional because it happens like once a month where my controllers will just randomly disconnect for one session. It could be an outside source, but that outside source could be at your house too. And if you are playing a game like Veil, where you have to have the surround sound and everything for the best audio, it does get really annoying having to constantly plug in a set of headphones, put those over top, when on my HP Reverb, the headphones were just built into the headset. Like I said, there are other solutions out there, it's just the actual audio of those solutions, from what I've heard, is not the best. So if you are looking for that better audio solution for all those competitive games, it is just good to note that yes, most headphones will fit over the headset, but a lot of them will be really uncomfortable, especially with the headset shifting around everywhere. I don't know how it'll be with different head straps, but you should know about it if you're gonna buy it. And it's especially difficult with the competition that the headset now has. Now, there really hasn't been many other headsets that have released since the last year. The Big Screen Beyond 2 is the only new headset out there, which, if you're spending that much on a Big Screen Beyond 2, don't even look at this headset. But as the years go by, new technology comes out, and there's always going to be new competition, which is never a bad thing. In this case, it's actually good, because the price of entry for this headset is a lot cheaper. This thing's been going on sale constantly. You can get used ones pretty cheap now. And like I said with the third-party adapters on PC, they're cheaper, they're better. Generally, if you want to get one of these headsets, it's no longer that $550 plus $60 adapter. But even though there is strong competition now, even with like the Quest 3 and 3S, this is still the better PC VR experience for most people, unless you are getting a Big Screen Beyond 2 or Valve Index. It's as plug and play as Steam VR gets. There's really no complaining here. The only advantage that I'd say the Quest 3 has over this headset is just the lenses. Pancake lenses are just far superior compared to Fresnel. They look sharper, they're much flatter, and especially on lower resolutions on the PSVR2, as soon as you drop it below 75%, these lenses really start to show just how bad they are. Like, they aren't awful by any means. These are some of the better Fresnel lenses that I've tried out. But it's like comparing a box TV to a flat screen. Like, pancakes are just going to be better in every way. And the one advantage that this headset has over the other ones is the PS5 library. If you own a PS5 and you're mainly getting this for PC, the PS5 library, in my opinion, is just an extra add-on that you get. That library has expanded a ton over the last year. There's been a lot of good releases to that headset, so being able to have access to all that is just so nice. In my opinion, if you have a PS5 and you're looking at getting this headset, I'd say it's a better purchase over a Quest 3, and especially the Quest 3S. Like, if you're going to mainly use this for PC, just ignore the Quest 3S, get a PSVR 2. But if the Quest exclusives do interest you and you don't have a PS5, I'd say it's really just up to you, whichever one you prefer. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. I'm more of a PSVR 2 guy over Quest 3, but it's your money. I don't get to make that decision for you. But the future is looking bright for this headset, especially now that you're actually able to, buy replacement controllers soon. Holy shit, how did it take so long for this? Especially with all these drivers coming out where you get access to the eye tracking and everything. Honestly, this headset's future is looking great, and as a PSVR 2 owner, I'm super excited to see what the next year or two is going to look like for this thing.
And later this year, Valve is adding native support for dynamic foveated rendering to Steam VR, and hopefully that includes all headsets. So PSVR 2 should be able to benefit from that. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive to the Big Screen Beyond headsets, because that's the reason why Valve is doing it. But I have no reason to believe it will be an exclusive feature, and if it is, you can send me money if I'm wrong.
But yeah, that's about all I have to say about this headset. Decide for yourself whether you think it's a good deal, but in my opinion, I think this is one of the best PC VR headsets on the market right now, and really the only upgrade up from this is the Big Screen Beyond 2. But it's purely going to depend on who you're talking to about that opinion. That's just mine. If you are planning on buying one of these headsets in the future, or you just want to get the PC adapter, I will be leaving links in the description to everything. The stuff by Globular Cluster is affiliate, so if you click it and you buy something from the website, it will directly help us, and I really appreciate if you do that. If you don't, whatever, not that big of a deal, not gonna be butthurt about it. If you like the video, great, not gonna ask anything else in return. Actually, you know what, that's a lie, I am gonna ask one thing in return. I'm really curious, how long have you guys actually been using VR? Are you new to the scene, or are you like a long-time fan? I do read every comment on this channel, and I want to hear what you want to say. Same with if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, you can talk to me down there. I also have a Discord server you can join. If you don't want to join it, it's also cool. But it's pretty active, so it's there as an option. But anywho, I'm going to head off for now. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. I don't know what I'm doing next, so it's a surprise for all of us. See ya!